Please tell me I'm saying things, please. Everybody, this is Pitchell Black here, and welcome back to the Skulls General Reviews number 16, The Time Traveller. Right then, so without further ado, let us begin this Doctor Who book review by taking a look at the cover art. So up here with BBC Books, Doctor Who, The Time Travellers, Simon Garrier. Then for the cover art itself, we have set against this kind of very kind of war-torn sky, with a very kind of destroyed and bleak looking London in the background. We have a traffic light tree in the foreground, with a little bit of light kind of shining out the back there just above the G in Simon Garrier's name. Anyways, and then for the spine we have Doctor Who, condensed bit of the cover art, The Time Traveller, Simon Garrier, BBC, with this very nice kind of transition from kind of a very kind of dark cyan to a lighter cyan to light blue to even lighter blue, and then eventually white with a bit of building there, BBC. Then for the back, we have, set against that kind of war-torn sky setting again, we have the condensed bit of the cover again.
It can move anywhere in time and space.
Have you ever thought what it's like to be wanderers in the fourth dimension? To be exiles? 24th of June 2016, not 2016, 2006, the TARDIS home has landed in London. Ian and Barbara are almost back home, but this isn't the city they knew. This London is a ruin, torn apart by war, a war that the British are losing, with his friends mistaken for vagrants and sentenced to death. The Doctor is press-ganged into helping perfect a weapon that might just turn the tables in the war. The British Army has discovered time travel, and the consequences are already devastating. What has happened to the world that Ian and Barbara once knew? How much of the experiment do the Doctor and Susan really understand? And despite all the Doctor has said to the contrary, is it actually possible to change history? This adventure features the first Doctor, Susan, Ian and Barbara. And there you've got a barcode and the prices. In the UK it was originally £6, in the US it was originally $8, and in Canada it was originally $11 pretty much. Doctor and TARDIS are trademarks of the BBC, and you've got the whiz around the cover in colour. And this is quite a rare Doctor Who book. You'll be lucky to get it for quite cheap like I did. It's normally like £12 to £15 on Amazon. I was very lucky to get my copy for £4 before it went rare. Let that focus in a bit. Probably focus on YouTube. Then anyways, we have Doctor in the Time Travellers, Simon Garrier, BBC Books, and I got that penciled in £4 up there. Various copyright guff for Tom. Alright, brother, or how do you pronounce that? Then there you've got the start of the book. This is, let's see, a 13-chaptered Doctor Who book with a prologue and an epilogue spread across, let's see here, 279 pages approximately. And there you've got some acknowledgements, and then there you've got a bit about the author. Simon Garrier is a freelance writer. He lives in London with a bright wife and a dim cat. This is his first novel. Now, for my own personal thoughts and opinions and the general consensus on The Time Travellers by Simon Garrier. This Doctor Who book is extremely mixed. There's a lot of 5-star reviews and a few 3-star reviews. With a lot of people saying it's quite a confusing Doctor Who book. But do I agree with the general consensus? Well, let's find out. I personally enjoyed The Time Travellers by Simon Garrier. I nearly said the Simon Travellers, I think. What the fuck? but I feel like I can give the book no more than a 5 out of 10. Simon Guerrier really did capture the characterization of the main characters and the side characters extremely well, and I could see this being a first Doctor TV story pretty easily. Not only that, the bleak war setting is realised brilliantly, and the book does have its gritty and realistic moments, such as a soldier. I keep saying shoulder when I mean to say soldier being shot in the eye, which I guess brings a whole new meaning to a bloodshot eye. However, I overall found the thing rather confusing. This is a Doctor Who book where if you don't pay maximum attention, you're going to have a hard time. Mainly because this book deals heavily in the paradoxical nature of time travel, which personally I find an interesting subject, but at the same time a rather confusing one. Another problem I have with this book is at the end of the book. Another problem I have with this book is that at the end of it, Simon Guerrier just gets absolutely lazy in my opinion. No spoilers, but the main gist of the ending is that the Doctor and company have to go back in time to prevent a woman creating a time travel experiment that they use in the future to go back in time to stop her. It's a paradoxical plot hole that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever in my opinion. Another problem that I do have with this book is this. And despite all the Doctor has said to the contrary, is it actually possible to change history? For me, this book personally did kind of muddy the waters that the Aztecs created. As you know, as you probably know, in the Aztecs, the infamous line was spoken: "You can't rewrite history, not one line," which basically implies pretty much what it says on the tin: you can't rewrite history, not one line. This book sort of muddied the waters of that in my opinion, and I am not sure if I am that happy with it, to be honest. It just didn't feel right to me. If I didn't find the time travel stuff as confusing, my rating would be a little higher, but not much so. Even though I only rate this book a 5 out of 10, I still recommend it to an extent, because the concepts that this book does have is pretty interesting, particularly the utterly stunning mental image of Ian dying in Ian's arms, which I know doesn't make sense, but this book makes it make sense, and quite frankly that is just probably one of the greatest moments I have ever read in a Doctor Who book, because it's just so shocking and just utterly wonderful, and it is something you need to experience for yourself. So overall, I don't really agree with the general consensus in my opinion. Well, I do actually. Well, I don't agree with the people that are saying it's brilliant, because for me the paradoxical plot hole about them going back in time to prevent the woman that created a time travel experiment that they used in the future to go back in time to stop her is pretty stupid and lazy. In my opinion, that's just a paradoxical plot hole that just doesn't work at all. But yeah, overall the Time Travellers by Simon Guerrier gets a 5 out of 10, and in my personal opinion, I would sort of recommend it because the concepts are good, and the mental image of Ian dying in Ian's arms is good, but other than that, this book isn't really anything outstanding. But yeah, overall the Time Travellers gets a 5 out of 10. And that pretty much concludes the Skulls General Reviews number 16. So like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and the black and white format of this video. I hope to do this kind of format in all of my kind of future 1960 reviews, just to give it a more of a 60 feel. But anyway, so like, favorite, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Pitch Girl Black, dematerializing.